Thank you, everyone. I'm Mike Farnworth, the Solicitor General, Minister of Public Safety here in British Columbia, and I'm speaking to you today from the traditional territory of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. Last month, we announced that our technical experts had identified sophisticated cybersecurity incidents involving government networks, and that we have reason to believe that a state or state-sponsored actor was involved. I know this situation is concerning for many, and so I want to take this opportunity to reassure British Columbians. Since then, we have continued to work closely with the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity and other agencies to address and investigate the incidents and implement additional measures to safeguard data and information systems. We committed to sharing what we could as more information became available without compromising the ongoing and very complex investigation. While this continues to be an active investigation, at this time I can confirm that 22 email boxes may have been accessed by the actor during the incident. A handful of these inboxes contain sensitive personal information on 19 individuals. These were employee files, and with one exception being an employee who had family information on their inbox. At this time, we have no indication that the general public's information was accessed. We have not identified any misuse of this information or found evidence that the actor accessed specific files. But all the individuals have been notified and will be receiving credit monitoring and identity protection supports. We also continue to meet with the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner. As we've seen with other organizations recently as well, cyber attacks continue to grow in sophistication and seriousness. Our investigation continues, working closely with the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity. Our top priority has to be the integrity of that investigation and the security of our networks. But as we've done today, we will continue to provide updates as we are able without compromising that investigation. And as we've said, after the conclusion of the incident, there will be a complete review of the incident and government's response to ensure that we capture any lessons that can be learned. Thank you.
As a reminder for reporters on the phone, please press *1 to enter the queue. That's *1 to ask a question. For media in the room, please line up at the microphone provided and wait to be called. Please make sure to provide your full name and outlet. Media will be limited to one question and one follow-up. For our first question, we're going to start in the room. Do we have a question in the room?
Mike Hager, Globe Mail.
Yep.
Thanks for taking questions. So can you confirm it was a state actor behind the cyber attack? And if so, why targeting of individuals' emails?
We are still being told that it was either a state actor or a state-sponsored actor, and that's still very much part of the investigation that is underway.
And which ministry were these employees in? Are they in the same ministry? Which ministry is it? If not, which ministries?
At this point, I'm not able to comment on which ministries are involved, but I can tell you that it was 22 email accounts and 19 individuals, and that it was no information has been accessed as far as we can tell at this point.
Our next question, we're going to head to the phones. Our first question on the phones is Wolf Deppner, Black Press. Please go ahead.
Yes, Minister, thank you for taking my question. Where on the organizational diagram were these individuals? In other words, were these high-ranking individuals somewhere in the middle? Can you sort of comment on where they were in terms of the organizational structure of the government?
Yeah, I'm not in a position to be able to comment on their position in the organizational structure. The investigation still continues. When I am able to do that, then I will comment on that.
Do you have a follow-up?
Can you rule out any cabinet members?
What I can tell you, it was in the public. It was in the public service. I can tell you that it was not cabinet members.
Our next question.
Thank you.
Our next question will go to Michael Williams, City News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Minister. Thanks for taking my question. I would imagine this isn't the first time, something like this has happened. I guess just where's your concern level at this point in time, also considering these other cyber attacks that we've learned about recently?
We know that cyber attacks are have been increasing, not just here, but in fact, it's a global issue, both in terms of government and the private sector. What we want to ensure is that we are doing everything we can to maintain that our systems are being updated as quickly as possible as when we become aware of things that are happening. That's why we work very closely with the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity. It's why we have a team of 76 people in the Ministry of Citizen Services whose sole job it is to focus on ensuring the integrity and the security of the networks. As I think has been reported once before, there are about 1.5 billion attempts a day to access government systems, and so this is an issue that government takes very seriously. It's why significant investments were made 3 years ago to ensure that our systems the integrity of our systems is not compromised by having the latest technology. And again, that's why we work very closely with the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity. It's why we work closely with RCMP and the security experts.
Michael, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I appreciate you may not want to jeopardize the integrity of the investigation, but just going back to London Drugs for a moment, we heard that how that incident may have unfolded initially was through an employee potentially opening a phishing email. Are you willing to elaborate at all on how maybe this incident initially played out, or if this was the fault of one person, or if it was just systems weren't as secure as they needed to be?
I can't comment because there is an active investigation underway. But what I can tell you, the nature of the cyber attack was that this was a state-sponsored attack or an attack by a state-sponsored actor. It was a very sophisticated attack on government systems, and that's why. That's all I can say at this particular point. That's why the investigation continues, and that's why we follow the advice of the security experts and the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity.
For our next question, we're going to Jason Proctor, CBC. Please go ahead.
Well, yeah, Minister, I wonder if you can, everywhere you look now, if you want to access government services of any type, you're kind of pushed towards a website or pushed online. And I'm wondering how, given this increasing vulnerability to cyber attacks, how, you as government balance the sort of discomfort that some people might have going through the website, et cetera, in order to access the information they need.
What it comes down to is ensuring that our systems are as robust and up to date as possible. It means making the necessary investments to ensure that. It means ensuring that you've got the people not only within government specifically, but also within individual ministries. That's why we have a staff of more than 76 people whose sole focus is on ensuring the security and integrity of government information systems, and that's located in the Ministry of Citizen Services. It's an incredibly important job, and it is a reality of governing today that you have to have those kinds of resources. You have to have those kinds of staff in place to do just that.
Jason, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, 76 sounds like a lot of people. How does that number compare with other jurisdictions, and what kind of work has your government done in terms of trying to see where BC stands in terms of the number of and the power of the gatekeepers needed to kind of fend off cyber attacks?
So that number of 76 is just in the Ministry of Citizen Services. Each ministry also has a staff dedicated to the cyber issues within their own ministry as well. It's also why we work very closely with other jurisdictions, and in particular with the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity, on understanding what the latest potential threats are and making the necessary investments. It was just about, I think, 3 years ago that government invested, I think it was $68 million to upgrade our security system networks. And it was the fact that investment had taken place allowed us to detect the cyber attack that took place. Had that not been made, we wouldn't have been able to detect the attack that had been made on us.
That's all the questions we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining.